Tribble. He is coming from Fort Worth, Texas, and just super glad he could be here tonight. He actually usually leads a open mic tonight in Fort Worth at a really cool venue, and so we're just grateful that he stepped away from that tonight to be here with us. He has several albums out. They're really cool. It's kind of like Americana country vibe. You should definitely listen to them. But yeah, I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. Yeah, I think David is doing a great job in Fort Worth of stewarding the songwriting community there. So thank you for being here and excited to hear what you're going to share with us. So I'm going to pass it over to David. And just a reminder, once he wraps up, we'll jump into our breakout groups from there. So here we go.
Well, everybody, thank you, Emma, for having me. And I am so grateful to be able to talk about my favorite thing in the world to talk about, which is songwriting. I've been writing songs since I was about 17, 18 years old. And so it got me quickly, and it has not let go. So it's kind of made everything feel better in my life, and everything kind of make more sense because I have songwriting to add to life and add to the things that I know and love, and it just you know what I'm talking about when I say when you have what it is that songwriting does it to your heart and to your soul. It's kind of unexplainable at times, but it's certainly something that makes you want to do it more and to understand how powerful it is and how meaningful it is. And I'm not a hugely influenced artist. I'm a very organic, independent, original artist. I don't have a lot of like side influences that come into mind when I listen to when I was growing up, listen to music. But and I know a lot of people do, and that's great. I mean, there's so much great music that's that we're following in the past. So I before I get rambling on about what's up, I'm trying to think. Okay, that's better. I don't really know Zoom very well here. I might change my view so I can see you all. Anyway, I was told to come on and talk about a certain topic. I mean, songwriting as a whole, I love to dive into all of it, but I'm going to focus a little bit more on something I call writing on the fly. Emma asked me to come up with a title, and I said "Free the Melody." And so, what I mean when I say that is, I feel like it's just a space where you have to allow yourself to be very open to something very, very simple. So what I'm saying is, in a writing style like this, you would write three or four chords. You play three or four chords. You don't even worry too much about what chords they are. If you like it, you kind of just repetitively just play those chords over and over again and get kind of a pattern. Okay, and you get comfortable with that pattern, and then you just start coming up with words. Now, you can have a topic in mind. You don't have to have a topic in mind, but you don't do anything with the chords. You just shape the words around the chords. Hopefully that makes a little sense. And I find this to just be a way to free up yourself to create melodies that happen little bit less forced, and they almost happen because you're having to shape words around these three chords, and so um, it kind of happens based on that, and they work together, and so and there's no really wrong answers at the beginning, because you know you still have the melody behind, you still have the chords, you still have, and you're kind of, the words are just working themselves out. Um, I wouldn't always recommend this to everybody, but what I've been playing live shows and playing like gigs and writing music for a very long time, and I write songs when I'm on the mic spontaneously. I know a lot of worship people do this, when they play songs, but I write Americana folk music, and I will just start making up a song with the chords that I'm playing. But I do it where in front of people, where they're listening to me, and maybe they're not listening to me, but you know how it goes. And so if I'm forced to come up with something, and so I kind of think about writing on the fly, like, you got your chords, you set your groove, you feel good about what you're sonically, what you have, and I think we can all come up with three or four chords, just some kind of rhythm, and then after that, you just kind of let your heart and your mind and just kind of really open up and just freely just jump into whatever you feel at the moment. But it's like setting the car to cruise control. I mean, your hands are still on the wheel. I mean, I know there's cars that, you don't have to hold the wheel now, but your hands are still on the wheel. You don't really have to worry about the cruise control is kind of taking care of the major parts, and then you have your hands on the wheel, and it's up to you what you want to do in the car. Because when you're cruise control, you have options. You could do other things. I mean, you could eat a burger. You could, you could be a little more multitasking. So you could hang onto the wheel and be a little more like, okay, all right, well, I'm not totally secure here. Or you could just, do some other things. So maybe not the greatest example, but yeah. So, but what you can do is open the door and jump. So I think that's what keeps you driving forward with an option, with an ability to come up with something that matters, something that you like, something that you can find yourself coming back to finish a song. A lot of times people talk about you need to finish the song from the beginning to end, so it doesn't just lay as a fragment of something on your phone. That doesn't always happen when I do this, honestly. I'll come up with just like a chorus or a verse or something, but the meat of the song is pretty much established, and then the other stuff can come afterwards. But it allows me to get something that I can feel, that I can trust, and the words, they're going to work themselves out. I've always talked to people about when they have new songs that they need to play them in front of other people, whether that's, friends at home or at a show, at an open mic. Open mics are great for this, but you play these songs live, even if they're not like, okay, I can play this, it's perfect. I can play this 20 times in my bedroom. It's good. I mean, if you feel like you can get close, then let the song kind of live in a vulnerable space to allow yourself to come up with some words or some phrasing that may need to feel different when you play it live. But again, I mean, it's meant to make you feel a little uncomfortable. I think this open mic's totally fine. If you mess up, you work on a song, well, that didn't go so well, or you come back and you do it again, and you play again. You keep songs in the workshop and you work them, and I do that all the time. like they were telling you earlier, I host a songwriter night tonight. It's actually starting here in an hour, and it is just for that reason. I mean, no covers. It's all just original music, and that launching pad for new songs, and it's really been great. Um, but yeah, you can do that on your own. Um, Man, I wrote a few other things down that I'll just kind of throw out there. I know I don't have a ton of time tonight, but I mean, thank y'all so much for listening. I really hope you're getting something out of this. Um, I know songwriting it's, I love it so much because I'm not a huge rule follower. I mean, I don't break the rules on purpose, but I'm just kind of like I like doing things my own way a lot. And so I think songwriting allows you to do that. It's such an outside of the box kind of thing. So if you find yourself like, man, I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, then flip it on its head and do something different and play the chords backwards and start with a minor chord. I mean, just do something. Throw it in 3/4. I mean, change it up. If you find yourself falling into that same pattern, stop yourself. And that leads me into thinking like you have a gauge, and so you need to make sure your gauge isn't broken. Okay, so if you play something and it's not good, you should know that it's not good, or have someone else maybe tell you that. But I think having someone told me the other day, like I played something and man, it wasn't good. I didn't like it. I was like, it's actually a strength. Like you need to have that. That's a huge strength to have. So make sure your gauge isn't broken. Know when it's not good. Know when it's just, all right, that was in passing, and I can bring something better than that. I can add more detail. I can add more depth. Which also another thing. In so few words, create depth. You know, listeners are looking for an experience. They're not looking for an essay. They're not looking for, something that's perfectly polished. They're looking for an experience, and you're trying to say something in a way that's never been said. It's never been said that way. Guarantee you, if you're not thinking deep enough or at an angle that is so different, it's gonna feel like it's been done 100 times. I would say, songwriting allows you to not be a really strong performer, a vocalist, a strong like hit the notes out of the roof kind of thing. That doesn't matter when songs are good, when songs are strong. The songwriting does the work, not you. Okay, don't get me wrong. There's moments for vocal highs and lows and just get their attention and hit a falsetto or hit that high note. But the songwriting should do the work. So put in the work during the songwriting process. I'll say one thing that I gathered through my years, and it hadn't been too many years ago, I talked to Walt Wilkins, a songwriter here around this area in Texas, and he said, keep the main thing the main thing. A lot of songwriters, they try to squeeze too much in. They're going here and then they come over here and they start something totally different, and it's really hard to kind of connect. So squeeze that one phrase that you fall in love with. Squeeze that one phrase. I'm dying here, lying in the truth. Like squeeze everything you can about that phrase and make that the song. Some phrase that just gets you every time. That's the phrase you want to try to squeeze out of. Don't forget about details. Details are so important. Visuals, create a moment, take the listener somewhere. Write from other perspectives, write from other people's perspectives. That is a lot of fun. I write from a woman's perspective a lot. I've been doing that a lot in the last, 2 or 3 years. um, that allows you to get out of your own head and just really fabricate something that you have kind of a side angle, like you're kind of up in the nosebleed section watching this thing, but it's not like you're disconnected because you're married or you're coming from a relationship. I mean, you were a part of it, but you're coming with a different voice, and that's a lot of fun as a songwriter. Um, you know, one more thing before I leave out. I mean, when you're writing on the fly, when you're writing, just talk, just talk, and let that be the song. Speak normally in your songs, like like you'd be talking to your friends. Uh, free up your mind. Don't psych yourself out. Uh, you know, and try writing on the fly. Try trusting yourself and creating an uncomfortable space that allows you to have to create some self confidence to get through it. Um, there has to be a little bit of like, all right, I can do this. All right, I got a little bit of juice in myself to get through this uncomfortableness because I'm a songwriter. That's what I do. Um, so anyway, man, thank y'all so much for listening to me. Uh, I'd love to answer any questions if you have them.
I'd love to hear more about how you organize your open mic night. It sounds really fun. Do you have different genres, or is it kind of in the same vein, or do people sign up, they email you, do they just show up with their acts? What happens there?
Yeah, so we sign up. We sign up at 7:30, and then we open up the open mic around 8:30. I open it with sometimes I get another friend of mine who's on tour that's coming through, and so somebody that's more established that deserves a little more like, hey, you got a new song coming out. Get up here and song swap with me. Just creates another level of like respect out of the song community because I mean you get a lot of people there that are just not really. They're pretty green and they're really workshopping a lot and but you get some friends that you want those really good dudes to come through there and gals to come through there and I let them open the show with me. We do a song swap. We do 3 songs. I do 2 songs for everybody after that. And we're done. Excuse me. We're done around 11 o'clock. And so we don't go super late. Now there's a songwriting deal over in Lubbock that is the same company owns the venue that I work at, and they have a songwriting competition. They do 3 songs, and they're there till like 1 o'clock on a Monday. But it's a college town, so uh, I think it's just having a songwriting event is this right here, but with a stage and a really great sound system and a bar where you can grab a drink if you want, and just everybody is able to connect and hang out. And man, it goes deeper than just being a songwriter at that point, because we're all living life. We're all bringing, burdens. We're all bringing, these hard times, but we're coming together on a space that we really, love and we're passionate about. And so, the Lord can really open a lot of doors that way.
Cool. Michael had a question there in the chat. Do you record your spontaneous improvs and listen to them later, or just remember what you hit that was good that you want to reuse or expand on?
Michael, man, that's a good question. And if you know me, you would know that I do definitely record them when I can. I have even stopped playing a show. I do it when I'm playing like a hotel and no one's really listening to me, and it's fine, and I can do whatever I want, and nobody's gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. Some people will notice, but it's usually for the good reasons, not the bad. But I will stop and I'll record just a few, like a minute of it, or I'll take a break and I'll be like, I gotta write that down. I gotta get that down on my phone, and then boom, I have that melody that made me feel so good. I have that slant rhyme that came out of nowhere. I have it on my phone. I can work on it later. And, I think, songwriting is something about like having some kind of rhythm or melody that always puts you in the same place for a song is important because your environments are all going to change and everything else, but when you start playing that little melody, you're like, man, I got this. I'm there right now. Like I can play this to a pack of monkeys and it'd be fine. Um, so that's why I'm saying, create those melodies that really that kind of make you feel like, you're in a, no matter what you're doing, that melody can kind of get you going down the road.
We have a couple raised hands here. So Kim and then Lizzie.
I feel like I'm a teacher again, Emma.
So yeah, Kim, feel free to jump in.
Hi, Teacher David.
Oh, yeah, it's been a while.
Thank you so much for talking to us today. Such good takeaways. My question is about co-writing, if you co-write or have some tips for co-writing.
Yeah, so like I told you, I'm such an independent artist, and I'm kind of like just been writing songs for so long. It's like I do it without even thinking about it nowadays. I want to co-write a lot more. I really do. That's been one of my goals this year is to co-write more. And honestly, 2 days ago, a guy reached out to me, and I said something on Instagram, and I posted a picture, and I said this one line, and he was like, "Is that a song?" And I was like, "No, it's not a song, but let's write it." And but here the funny thing is, I mean, everyone's so different, right? And he's a very Nashville country artist kind of guy, and I'm an Americana folk artist, and very, not, I don't have a pattern, okay? And so we started writing this song, and it was just like he wrote a song and I wrote a song, and they were completely different songs. They were, so I kind of was like at a space where I was like, this song I wrote, I really like, but his song I like as well. And he needs songs. He needs more songs than I do. And I think when you're in a co-writing space, you kind of have to give and take a little bit. I mean, at some point, you can't be like, oh, we're both going to cut this song. No, you're probably not. You kind of have to. You kind of have to lay down a little bit more when you're co-writing, and sometimes you get it. Sometimes it leads your way, and sometimes it doesn't. But I think there's great joy in both of those aspects, and of course if they cut the song, obviously your name's on the song either way. It does that doesn't change. But yeah, so co-writing, I think the more you do it, the more you're going to get the feel of it. Everybody's different, but that was interesting to me that we had the same phrase, and he came from a totally different angle than I did, almost to the point where it's like we can't bring these together because they're so different. And so it was almost two created songs out of one phrase. And I wouldn't be surprised if we write one for him and he plays it, and I write the one I wrote and I play it. I mean, that's songwriting for you. I mean, I don't even know. It's so cool. It's amazing.
Okay, I'm so sorry, y'all. Lizzie and Ray, I can grab your questions after and get David's response back to you later through email.
I was gonna say probably time to head into the groups.
Yes. So yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna send you to your breakout groups. So hope you enjoy the time. We should be wrapping up around 9. So all right, here we go.